Hey guys, I'm Sherry Criswell, independent designer for Couture, and I'm gonna try another live, this time with a Christmas transfer for Noel. It's right here. And then I want to show you on the back, on all of our transfers, we have care instructions and how to actually use it, cleaning it and applying it. So if you're in doubt, it's always here. And today I want to use very traditional Christmas colors. I'm going to use the emerald, which is a very bright green, and red, which is, I think, candy apple. Yes, candy apple red. And I'm going to use honeydew, which is a little bit lighter color green, to blend in with the emerald on the leaves, and white. Now the first thing you want to do, of course this is our board and base, and I think I've showed this before, but in case you haven't seen, you can do chalking on both sides, and you can do it landscape or portrait, either way. And it's very inexpensive. I think it's $7.99 retail, so very affordable. Okay, so I'm going to take the base off for now while we're working on it. And let's start with the transfer. I'm using all chalk paste today, not the inks, just the paste. All right, now when we get these, they have the backing on it, and there's a definite right and wrong way to put the transfer back on. So I always take it when I get it brand new, and I mark the back, and I write what it is. So I mean, this time it's pretty easy. That's the only transfer that comes with it. All right, then I just take it, usually like this, with my finger, pull it back, and if you could see, if you forget to mark it, this is the shiny side, and it's always the shiny side that goes to the sticky side of the transfer, and this is sticky. The matte side is what you will mark. You don't want to put this side to the transfer. You might have trouble getting it off. Okay, so peel it back. And bear in mind too that you're going to have the base and it's going to come down a little bit. So space this a little bit higher up than you normally would do. So let's see. Yeah, that's too far. And I usually just kind of eyeball it. Not always real good alignment, but that's what I do. Okay, now, before we get started, let's open up these pastes and mix them up. Sometimes they do need a little bit of water. Like my white is well used and it's almost gone. Gonna have to get more of that. So you're gonna stir it up, and I just have just some plastic. They're actually makeup, for makeup app, and mix it up. I think I am gonna add just a little bit of water, not much. So if it's too thick, that's what you do, is just add a few squirts of water. And then mix it really well. Okay, the white, honeydew, kind of try to get it around the sides too. And when you clean it and put it away, it's a good thing to get all this cleaned off here. If you see there's some kind of crusted dry stuff on the side, that's because I didn't get it that good last time when I put it away, so it dried on the sides. So it's best to try to get this all mixed in so you don't have too much of a problem the next time, and it lasts longer. I just put a few squirts of water and mix it in there pretty good. You don't want any little lumps on your transfer. It won't do it good. Okay, the green. Now let's get the emerald. Now this is a very vibrant color, bright. Also, I don't know if you can hear that crinkly sound, but that's typical. And then you stir it and it mixes in. This color will stain your transfer, but that's all right. I mean, you just have a very well used and loved transfer. The only thing you have to be careful of with any of the chalks, any colors, is get it cleaned off of the net screening, the silk screen netting, because then obviously it's not going to go through well and make a good print. Okay, there's the green. And now candy apple red, which, if you can see that, is very bright. There we go, that's better. Oh, and this one is very liquidy, so that's the other thing that I've heard. I have not tried it, but if you get them where it's too thin, it can possibly bleed through a little bit. You can add, well, first of all, you can leave the top off and let it get to the air and dry out a little bit. Or you can add cornstarch to it. I wouldn't do a lot, just a little bit. So that's just a tip that I heard. We're not going to use that much red just on the berries, so I'm not going to worry about it too much. So the first thing I want to do is the white on the Noel. The small spaces I'm going to do last, as they might dry faster. And chalk paste, you just have to work fairly fast because you don't want it to dry on your transfer or on your board. Now I went over a little bit on there, but that's okay because I'm going to take this off and do the squirrely things, whatever they are. Later with a different color, because I want to try a technique where you add glitter. So it really is pretty simple. Always use your squeegee though. Don't use this. You can use these to put these stirrers to put it on, but always use the squeegees to apply the paste or the inks. It makes a smoother line, and you don't get all those lines in there. Okay. I just took off some of the excess. All right, let's try. I just want a very little bit of this, and I don't know. a very little bit of the honeydew. Just a little bit of a drop. Okay. Now with the berries, we are just gonna take this little on there, and then I'm going to take my finger and kind of rub these two colors in here a little bit. I might have to add a little bit more here. Oh my, we're going to have some colorful leaves here. Because I got kind of messy. All right, that's enough time. Let's see what it did. Hopefully it did not dry on me, which is always something that can happen. And if it does, hey, it's chalk. You can wash it off and try it again. There we go. Okay, now it did dry on me, the white. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wipe this off. I'm going to clean this, put it in water. And while that's in water, I'm going to take this, I'm going to wipe off the Noel, and I'm going to try that again. So let's take some whites. Now we're just going to take this part off. I do like the holly and the berries, even though a little bit of the red got on the leaves, so I'm going to leave that part alone. I'm all right with that. But see, that's what's so neat about this, is it's up to you. If you like it, you know, keep it. If you don't, do what I'm doing and take it off and do it again. Also, if you don't like traditional colors, you can make it any color you want. And you can add transfers, you can combine them, and do any color to match your room or wherever you're going to put it. So you can design it any way you want. It's very versatile and can go on a whole bunch of different surfaces, not just their surfaces, although you'll find that they go on usually pretty good on these. And this was all user error, which is okay, because you can always figure out how to correct your mistakes. Now I could have waited till it dried and gone over it, but I think it'll have a better look if I do it this way. Okay, now I gotta clean this real quick. Okay, after you do it in water, I'm going to show you this real quick. You take your Lysol wipes. You take your Lysol wipes and you wipe it off. If you can see the red stained a little bit, but as long as it gets out of all the netting, you're fine. You just don't want any chalk to dry on there. And of course, water takes it off. So you do both sides with the Lysol wipes. And then normally you would just let this dry like this, air dry. But I want to speed it up a little bit so you don't have to sit here literally waiting for this to dry. I'm sure there's other things you'd like to watch or do than sit and watch the transfer dry. Now, this is a non-lint towel, and I am just going to put this on here. To dry it faster. And once it starts to dry, the stickiness comes back to your transfer. And it's very sticky again. Okay. Now, I am going to, it's so sticky that I'm going to put it on my shirt, kind of defuzz it, get a little of the stickiness off. Because when I put this on here, I don't want to go over, I'll move this over here a little bit so I can see this a little bit better. I want to try to line it up where it was. And we're going to do this one more time. With these right here. All right, I'm going to take another, take this and just put some chalk paste on here. And just start spraying it on. Okay, now I'm going to take some of this excess off. Sorry, it's hard for me to do two things at once. Can't concentrate on what I'm doing and talk. All right, let's take it off. Hopefully this didn't dry this time on me. Much better. Into the water it goes. Now the other thing is that a lot of the transfers are distressed to begin with. So that's part of the charm of them. I overdid it a little places, which I'm just gonna clean those up right now. And one more. Now, the reason I want to do the swirly things, whatever you call them, is because I want to do glitter on it. And I don't want to put, you have to put the glitter when the chalk is wet. So I want to give this a chance to dry because I don't want the glitter on this, only on the swirly thingies, whatever they are. Okay, so now I'm gonna go back over here and clean my transfer again, real quick. In the water. I'm going to bring it over here. We're going to do the same thing with the Lysol wipes. Clean the front. And the back. Another way, when your transfers are wet, they aren't as sticky. They lose their stickiness. So if you can't tell which is the sticky side, and of course with words you can tell because it's backwards, but for other things you can't always tell. So the sticky side is usually darker than the non-sticky side, if you can see. And if you can, do your best not to put sticky side on sticky side because it's hard to get it off. However, because it loses its stickiness in water, that's what you would do. Put it in water and slowly pull it apart so you don't stretch your transfer. It takes a lot of patience, but it can be done. I've done it. Okay, let's try this again. While I'm doing this, I am going to clean up some of this stuff. Let's do white. Now for the swirly design on here, I'm going to use mocha as the chalk paste color, and I am just going to put the glitter on it then before it dries. This is the color I'm using, and I'm just going to put some gold glitter. Now put this in water. Scrape off the red. Close this up. Now later, when I'm all done, I'll probably go back over and clean the edges on the paste. It just gives a better seal and you don't get all that dry, crusty stuff around it. But for now, I just want to get it closed. Emerald green. They have a lot of variety of colors. So you have a lot of choices. Yep, sticky again. That's good. Get all my other. Another red that you could use is Currant Jam, which is just kind of a pinkish tint to the red. Wine color, kind of. It's very pretty. And here, this is Garden Herb. It's a darker green than the emerald that I put on there. So there's a whole bunch of different colors. We have a lot of pretty blues. There's a peacock blue, which is really pretty. Let me see if I can show you that. We go that pretty blue. Can you see that? And here's Ocean Mist, which is a lighter blue. So you can go, you know, from light to dark. A lot of stuff to pick from. All right, now hopefully this is dry. Chalk does dry pretty fast. We want to make sure it's good and dry before we put it back on there, or we'll just peel it off again. So let's get this out and ready. Want to mix it up. Actually, I think that's pretty good. And I want to get a piece of paper out for the glitter. I don't know if you've worked with glitter much, but it goes everywhere. All right. And I'm going to make it less sticky again on my shirt. I mean, really fuzz it up good. And that's what you'd want to do if you're doing layers. Although hopefully I can line this up so it's not sticking over chalk that's already laid down. Okay, that looks pretty good. What I'm going to try to do is put down harder with this and not so much over here. So keep your fingers crossed. All right. Just dab this on in places. And start squeegeing the mocha paste on. There is a definite learning curve. It's not hard, but working with the squeegee and the chalk, getting a good idea when it's starting to dry. And when you think you have it, then something different happens. But it's not that bad, and yay, it worked, yes. Okay, now I get all this out of here. Put the paper underneath it. And we are going to just spread some glitter on here. And that's the reason I didn't want to do it all the same, because I wanted the rest of it to be dry. So the glitter would only adhere to the mocha and the swirlies. All right. Now this is just being glitter, so that part you can clean off later. So after this really dries real good, then I'll go by with a finger and maybe a brush. Just brush the excess off. It should come off pretty easy. Okay, so after that, put this back in here, like that. And you can always add embellishments, like here's some ribbon I could tie around here. You could even put like a flower on here. So, you know, you could change it up, do whatever you like. I also have things like, these are things I just had laying around because I like crafting. I make cards too. Here's some Fun Stampers Journey blooms that I've had. Here's some snowflakes. So, you know, you could put that stuff on there. If you want to reuse your board though, you don't want to put anything permanent on here. But you can put it on here, or you can put it on your ribbon. So you can really change it up however you want to do it. So that's it, guys. I hope you like this, and maybe seeing the mistake and how you correct it is helpful, I hope. Anyway, thanks for stopping by, and I'll try and do this a little more often. Bye.